Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video about Bitcoin, Ethereum and Litecoin's price action, as well as some investor sentiment analysis. We're going to be looking at the monthly, the weekly time frame for Bitcoin's price action, the sentiment that we've seen change since yesterday, Ethereum's price action, Litecoin's price action, all of that coming up. Let's dive right into the video right after our quick sponsor. Our sponsor for today's episode is Rekt Capital. Rekt offers a smart index fund called Crypto 10 Hedged that provides investors with exposure to the top 10 cryptocurrencies while limiting loss of capital through a dynamic cash hedging mechanism. The fund dynamically adjusts its crypto exposure by an algorithm developed by the Rekt quant team to reduce volatility and enhance returns. When the market goes down, the fund moves into interest-bearing cash holdings and pivots back into crypto when the market rebounds. To mitigate concentration risks for investors, the fund caps holdings of individual cryptos at 15% while rebalancing the fund weekly. The team does their due diligence and assesses each coin before it becomes eligible to enter the fund. Check out the link in the description down below to learn more about the Crypto 10 Hedged Fund by Rekt Capital and invest today. Awesome. So what we're looking at here is the monthly time frame for Bitcoin, and we've been talking about this over the past few days, even maybe a week or two, the monthly retest. This month of October has broken this previous resistance, and now we're seeing this current November monthly candle try to turn this level into a support. And the thing about turning things into a support, a retest attempt can be as volatile as it likes. It can seesaw, zigzag as much as it likes, but the most important thing is to just monthly candle close above this 58K region, and the reaction has been quite positive. It's a promising rebound. Sell side exhaustion is a factor, as I've been talking on my Twitter, that sell side exhaustion is going to be a factor whenever we see sellers really accelerate in the sell side momentum. They do get tired, and then we see a strong buyback from the buyers because buyers don't need that much strength to beat up very weakened sellers on a accelerated sell side momentum move. So we're seeing some buyback right here, and it's promising, but we're probably going to see some seesawing in volatility in and around this level. The most important thing is for this weekly, or at least this monthly time frame, this monthly level to be successfully claimed as a support by the end of the month. And we still have less than 2 weeks, or at least still a few more days, plenty of time for the monthly retest to occur successfully. The most important thing is this monthly retest, but of course volatility, that's just noise. It'll probably happen. We're probably going to see a lot of seesawing and zigzagging here. What we need to talk about is that this is the weekly time frame. In the past, when this was a resistance area, we'd dig deep into this weekly time frame, even overextending beyond it before performing a rejection from this weekly resistance. Now we're seeing the same area turn into a support. So we are seeing digging deeper into this demand zone. And in fact, you can see that we've seen a rebound from the very bottom of this demand zone. But just like we saw overextension beyond the resistance area, we could still see overextension beyond this demand area. At the moment, we've rebounded from the very bottom of it in the same way that we pretty much rejected from the very top of it. It's just, it's the same thing happening effectively, but now we're seeing this a demand area, this as a supply area, and the same principles are recurring just on the flip side. And we've seen a rebound here. That's a promising sign, but the fact that we're digging deeper into here shouldn't surprise anybody, because that's what we've seen back in the past a few months ago when this area was figuring as a resistance. The thing to really talk about and think about is, since yesterday, when investors were around the neutral sentiment, investor sentiment, you can see that we're now approaching the fear region, and extreme fear precedes financial opportunity. So this fear, arguably, we need to see a bit more fear, and with this recent bounce, we're probably going to see this fear maybe transition into neutrality again before going back into fear with another pullback, with the possibility for this pullback maybe turning into a higher low. Nonetheless, some sort of downside price action needs to occur to really bring us down to the extremely fearful region, and we're going to be progressing in that in steps. So we're seeing fearful sentiment right now, and now on this rebound, tomorrow we're going to see neutral sentiment, maybe a little bit of greed, and then we'll see a rejection back to neutrality or back to fear, and then another bounce back to neutrality, and then back to fear, back to neutrality, and potentially then we'd reach extreme fear. That's kind of how I see this playing out. It's a progression of a declining sentiment over time. We have seen a lot of sentiment change over the past few weeks from really high greed levels, and now we're at really relatively low fear levels. But generally, we tend to see these sort of changes take place over time with relief rallies and rebounds before further dips, and those dips don't even necessarily have to reach lower levels. Of course, we could dip below this green area, but what if we dip to this region? That would still be enough to inspire some more fear in the minds of investors. So in fact, some price stability around here with some dipping price action could be enough to inspire that fear. Nonetheless, this is a promising bounce, but of course we still have so many days left until the end of the monthly close, so the volatility doesn't really matter, only insofar it matters just to bring this index down, because extreme fear is where Bitcoin tends to enjoy a price reversal, and if that downside volatility throughout the month is what we need for this extreme fear to manifest itself, then so be it. I'm more than happy for that to happen, because that brings us closer to a reversal. So this could be a short-term bounce. We need to watch out for that extreme sentiment, but a lot of this reaction, this rejection, this retrace, a lot of it has arguably happened, and now we're just trying to figure out a basing period wherever that may be, and once that basing period has established itself, then we'll slink back up 58,700 for that monthly candle close above the green level to just perform a successful retest attempt. That's Bitcoin in a nutshell. Here's Ethereum. Ethereum is an interesting one because now we're seeing a strong reaction as well, and I just want to dissect this in a bit more detail. Right over here, this red area rejected price quite substantially a few months back. When we revisited that area, we saw this resistance reject price once again, but you can see that this rejection was less harsh and in fact much shallower than this rejection. So generally speaking, this resistance was weakening, and the fact that we saw a break beyond that resistance followed by a successful retest of that retest into a new support, of that old resistance into a new support, the fact that we've seen this is just showcasing that weakening until that weakness turns into strength. This strength being in the demand area rather than weakness being in the resistance area. And since this retest attempt, we've rallied to new all-time highs, rejected, and now we've retested this red area once again. But the best thing about that is that we've retested this at a higher low. And a higher low is a very positive thing because we're seeing buyers buy on this retest at a premium. They're happy to retest or at least buy Ethereum on a pullback, but at a premium. They're buying Ethereum at higher prices every time it dips. And these are quite substantial technical steps in confirming that this is now a new demand area. This is a very positive sign for Ethereum going forward. And as for Litecoin, we've been talking about Litecoin here as well, that losing this 225 red area has happened in the past, right over here, and during this retest attempt of the red area, the 225 area, we've seen downside wicking to as far as 206. We've seen this move repeat. Rejection from 270 to 225, downside wicking to 206. Here you can see rejection from 270 right over here, retrace to 225, downside wicking to 206, maybe even a little bit below, and now we've rebounded and we've got a decent chance of seeing Litecoin weekly candle close above 225, and if it does, then we're probably going to see this be a successful retest attempt of this support area, and that would bring Litecoin into this range, just confirming it as this range being the next reaccumulation area, in which case 225 could springboard price to 270 once again in the future. That's about it for Litecoin, and that's about it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. The Black Friday sale is in full force. We have $50 off on all courses, the technical analysis course, the risk management course, altcoin investing. Get $50 off each of those courses for a total $150 savings. Save $150. The Black Friday sale, you can make the most of it by clicking in the link in the description down below. Thanks so much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed this one and would like to see more videos like this in the future. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. I'm Rekt Capital, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.